What's up, Buffs Nation, and welcome into the Buff Blitz. I am one of your hosts, Russ, and I am joined, as always, on this Wednesday night with my co-host, David Talks Buffs. David, how you doing on this Wednesday night?
Russ, I went on a walk before coming back up here to my office.
Cigarettes?
No. I'm not stressed. I'm excited. I got like the excited butterflies for Friday night, man. Football's finally here, and I'm just so happy. I'm so excited. That's it. That's the storyline. I just love this.
Man, I can't believe we're 2 days away from football again. We've been waiting all off season for this. And no matter the outcome Friday night, I am just so happy that we have got the Buffs finally back and we can finally see what this team looks like on the field. I think we have to think we're one of the probably biggest question marks in all of college football because it could go one of two ways, and you're hearing that with everybody's predictions this week as far as what JD Pickell from On3 picked Colorado to win. Like, what? That's insane. And I know that you want to talk about it, and I want to hear your thoughts. CBS Sports also did their preview of the game. What'd you think about their thoughts on what could transpire on Friday night?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who they even picked. To me, it didn't even matter because they started off the video talking about Ralphie. And I'm glad we can get this out of the way, man. Normally, Ralphie retiring is a sad thing. I was devastated when Ralphie V retired. You know, she was the Ralphie when I was at school, just a mad woman on the field.
Yep.
Well, first off, CBS Sports keeps calling Ralphie the Sixth, Ralphie the Seventh. This is not like some British king or queen. No, it's just Ralphie 6, Ralphie 7. We're going to be getting Ralphie 7. And what blew my mind, I remember this now. They said, without Ralphie the 6th running, that's a bad omen for this game. Are you kidding me? Did you see how embarrassed we all were at the Alamo Bowl when she just sat there and basically took a crap on the field and said, "Get me back home"? Ralphie the Sixth, you're even butchering her name. Ralphie Six sucked. She was not a good mascot. She was a terrible omen for this team, and I'm glad that we are moving on from Ralphie Six. Having Chip run out there to start the game is a much better energy booster with the Wranglers than having Ralphie Six get out there and just crap on the turf and barely make it to the 30, 35-yard line, man. I am so done with people saying Ralphie Six retiring is a bad thing. She was an embarrassment to our entire university and fan base, and she's just lucky that we're not turning her into burgers, man. Best of luck to Ralphie Six. You can't force somebody to run, but I have high expectations for Ralphie 7 whenever we see her, hopefully later this year.
Yeah, and there's way too many people online that are being like critical of CU, saying that they waited too long. Like, we got the news from DNVR, RK talked about this. It's been months and months and months in the making. You don't just go out and pick a random buffalo and throw them out on the field. One, they're a dangerous animal that people don't realize. Oh, by the way, there's at least a couple gorings a year in Yellowstone National Park from buffaloes attacking random people. This isn't like the easiest thing to do. So on top of that, and Dave, this is the good news. RK reports that the new Ralphie is bigger, more rambunctious, and likes to run.
Well, that's great because that's not hard to beat. It literally, the bar is so low for Ralphie 7 right now. And I'll say this, I hope to God Ralphie 7 is not coming from the state of Nebraska, man. Ralphie 6 was a Trojan horse from all of Cornhusker land. She embarrassed us, and she was from Nebraska. Let's get a Colorado bred buffalo up in here. I can't wait to see Ralphie 7 do her thing. But in the meantime, man, we'll rope up Chip just like we did after Ralphie 5 retired for a season. And, Chip's going to do just fine, man.
I love it. I truly, truly love it. Okay. Well, we're going to preview Georgia Tech. So everybody in the chat, be ready. We got a whole bunch of stuff to bring everyone. Obviously, the Ralphie news, massive news this week, and something that needs to kind of start off the show when it comes to the Buffs. But we've got Georgia Tech coming in Friday night. Georgia Tech fans, man, they are talking a lot of smack online. And
I've
I
only
don't
seen like
know.
2 of them online. Where
Oh,
where, where do I find all of them?
I, I don't know if they're Georgia Tech fans. I don't know if they're just random college football fans. My YouTube comments, my Twitter mentions are blowing up with just random people throwing out the weirdest facts. I had like a 12-year-old kid say my altitude argument was stupid because training in the heat is the same as altitude because it transforms the blood plasma just like altitude does. And I had to educate him a little bit. While he was correct, scientifically it does. Scientists also say that the actual shock to your body from altitude adjustment does not make up for heat. So it's like the heat argument doesn't make up for it. Like, sure, it's good to try and do that to combat it, but it's not the same as actually playing in altitude.
Yeah, combine that with a hit from Martavius French, baby.
I mean, I'm just saying, everybody, you look at any athlete in professional sports, and I had a couple athletes comment who played in college, and came to Colorado at some point, and they said, oh, he's not joking. Like, you think you know what it's going to be like, and then you get to altitude and you're like, holy crud, this kicked my ass. And that's what happens when you play at altitude. So, again, on top of that, everyone keeps thinking that we talk about the altitude like that we should be undefeated in Colorado. Like, that's not how this works either. Like, I don't know how stupid people need to be when it comes to the internet, but the internet has ruined us as a society. I'm just going to say that going into this game with some of the takes and comments I've seen. So
I can't wait to see it, man. I can't wait to see you guys pull out all those bookmarks. I don't have anything, man. Georgia Tech fans, I'm glad we were able to find one, to talk ball, man, to be honest. So, I mean, that's great that there's at least a few around. And I'm sure
we
there will be a
found
small contingent there at Folsom on Friday.
we found one of the smart ones. I will tell you guys, King knows his stuff. I liked what he had to say. Definitely thought out, has actually watched CU, actually knows about CU. That's the other thing. I swear people have no clue who we have even on the roster. And they're like, I had somebody say Georgia Tech has the greatest wide receiver room in the entire country. What?
Maybe when they add Calvin Johnson, Demarius Thomas.
Maybe you take the best Georgia Tech receivers in their history, sure. But to say that without knowing anything about Colorado's room, a little bit crazy if I'm being honest. This guy's absolutely crazy, by the way. You want to go watch the craziest takes? I'm pretty sure his channel is satire at this point. Rec Talk is who you need to go watch because that is absolutely hilarious, the things he's saying. I have no idea what he's talking about. A little bit too much moonshine, Dave, I think. A little bit too much of that Georgia moonshine.
Wow, I didn't even know moonshine was is that the vice of choice in Georgia? I mean, I know what the vice of choice is in Tennessee. I did get in trouble for talking some smack to some Vols fans, but yeah, sure, Georgia moonshine. I'll have to go check out Rec Talk after the victory on Friday night, baby.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, Dave. So we got a couple things to cover. We're going to go through everything. I also am going to play the interview with King straight through that I did the other night so everybody could see it. And then I think what we'll do is we'll get our take on what we think the keys to victory are. We get into the predictions and breakdowns, and then we'll end off the show with our overall predictions of what's going to happen in the actual game on Friday night. So hopefully that works. So I'm going to go ahead and play. You guys sit back, watch. We're going to sit back and watch as well the interview. It's about 20 minutes long, and then we'll pop back on and discuss here on the show. So here's the interview with Rec talk. What's up, everyone? I am here joined by Zach, a Georgia Tech fan who reached out to me on Twitter, also known as KingSzn on Twitter, TikTok. Make sure you go follow him and his takes over there. Zach, how you doing tonight?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Can't complain.
Great. Appreciate it. Appreciate you jumping on. I wanted to get a Georgia Tech's perspective on this game. We've been hearing a lot of crazy talk from both sides, and I just want to hear, from somebody who has the true know on that side, what their thoughts on the game are. I've got some questions for you, and just want to see, from your perspective, what's going to happen with this game. So the first question, and probably easy one, what do you see as the biggest thing from Georgia Tech's side that is going to determine how this game kind of plays out from what you've seen this offseason?
Running the ball. I think Buster Faulkner, Georgia Tech's offensive coordinator, Haynes King, even head coach Brent Key, they've all been very, adamant on wanting to pass more this season. But when you go on the road to let's face it, both sides are talking trash, but we're going to be realistic here. It's a hostile environment. You face the altitude. You're going to want to try to control the game. You're going to want to try to keep Colorado's offense off the field. You're going to want to run the ball. And if you do that, I think I have a number. I think if we get over 160, 170 yards, I think it's almost guaranteed Georgia Tech wins. I think they have to run the ball, and you have to control the clock and keep Caden Salter off the field.
Yeah, that's what I've been talking about all the last couple weeks. Because Colorado's Achilles heel last year was the run game, was not being able to stop the run. When they didn't stop Kansas State, that hurt us. When we didn't stop Kansas, that hurt us. All the losses last year, we could pinpoint to teams running all over us, holding onto the ball, keeping the offense off the field. I think you're absolutely right. And Colorado's game plan will be to put it in Haynes King's arm to throw the ball, and let's stop the run and see what happens. So I'm glad to hear that from your perspective. Who are some players outside of the obvious, Haynes King, the starting running back for Georgia Tech? Who are some players that Colorado fans really need to pay attention, that if they have a big game, Georgia Tech's going to also have a big game?
I'll say this. I don't necessarily know if he would have a big game, but I think consistency is probably one thing you need to keep him from doing. His name is going to be Malachi Hosley from Penn. He was a runner-up for the Walter Payton Award last year, which is like the FCS version of the Heisman. And I'll go back to 2023 with Georgia Tech starting running back Jamal Haynes. He kind of came into that as a converted wide receiver. He became a running back, but he had a guy, Dante Smith, next to him who rushed for over 500 yards that season. And because of that, Jamal Haynes was able to stay healthy. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. You jump to 2024, Jamal Haynes, he still rushed for over 900 yards, but he had multiple games where he was badly injured. He literally had to pretty much like will himself, even though he had injured legs, injured body, whatever. It's just he wasn't injured. He couldn't perform his best. So I say Malachi Hosley because if Malachi Hosley comes in and he can stay efficient and give this running game a kind of a new breath, I think you're going to see Jamal Haynes go back to his 2023 form. And if both of those guys are kind of doing what Jamal and Dante Smith were doing in 2023, which that year Georgia Tech had the number one rushing offense in the ACC, I don't think it would be a good night for Colorado. You got to stop one of those guys, and Malachi Hosley's kind of the backbone. Push it all on Jamal. Stop Malachi Hosley when he comes in. Force Jamal to do all the work.
Nice. I love it. One thing that a lot of Colorado fans have been talking about, and I want to get your perspective on it, is the trenches. Colorado the last 2 years, overpowered, undersized. It just hasn't been good on either side of the ball. Last year, the defensive line did much better, but the offensive line still one of the worst in FBS football. Completely revamped, but it brings a lot of experience, a lot of FBS starts, a much bigger line we have one of the biggest lines in FBS football for the offensive line. And I know that Georgia Tech has a lot of transition. Obviously, Rutledge back, one of the best offensive linemen probably in the country. Vandenberg on the defensive side, also, a returning player for you guys that looks good. I really like Manley on the defensive line. What are the perspective on your guys' trenches heading into this matchup and this season?
I think probably a bunch of Georgia Tech fans. I'll speak to Colorado's offensive line and Georgia Tech's defensive line first, and then I'll go to Georgia Tech's offensive line and Colorado's defensive line. I think with Georgia Tech's defensive line, we're bringing in 3 brand new guys. We've got AJ Hoffler from Clemson. You mentioned Braden Manley from Mercer. He was SoCon DPOY last year, had like 8 or 9 sacks. Great sophomore season. We've got Ronald Triplett from UTSA. So we've got 2 guys coming up that are right now it looks like Ronald Triplett's probably going to be coming off the bench, but those 3 guys are edge rushers that we're bringing in. And then on the defensive line, you mentioned we've got Jordan Vandenberg coming back, but we're going to be also bringing in a guy from Ole Miss. He played at Georgia Tech for, I believe, a year or 2, transferred to Ole Miss. Now he's coming back. So, I say all that to say Georgia Tech's defensive line, other than one guy, is going to be pretty brand new. And while I say that, Colorado's offensive line is also going to be pretty brand new. But when you put a pretty much brand new offensive line versus pretty much a brand new defensive line, I'm going to give the edge to the offensive line. You know what I mean? Not saying I don't think, you can maybe generate some pressure, but you're not going to see these guys go out here and rack up 3-4 sacks. It's just not going to happen. The best thing you can maybe hope for is stop Colorado's run game and put it all on Caden Salter's arm, and maybe he has a bad game. You know what I mean? And moving to the other side with Georgia Tech's offensive line, we bring in, not really bring in, but we bring in one guy at right tackle from South Alabama. He was probably their best offensive lineman last year, but outside of him, our other 2 like brand new offensive line starters, they were here last year, but they were, kind of depth guys. And then of course we got Keelan Rutledge and Joe Fusel at the guard position. And looking at Colorado's defensive line, I mean, y'all have got, what's his name? Walker, Aiden Walker.
Yeah, Arden Walker. Yeah.
I think he's going to be really good. I think if, I'm not sure how y'all will do, y'all's schemes or anything, but at the tackle position, I think he can give Malachi Hosley, he's the one that came from South Alabama. I think he can give Ethan McKinney. He was a freshman All-American in 2023, and then he was kind of more of like a reserve guy last year. I think he can give both of them problems. But I think just like what Georgia Tech did last year, I think we're going to try to get the ball out quickly. You don't allow sacks. You don't put your quarterback in bad positions. So, I mean, with the lines, I would probably lean more towards Georgia Tech, but I don't think it's as big as Georgia Tech fans, some try to make it out to be like this. Some say, oh, we're about to have all day back in the pocket. We're about to get Caden Salter to the ground. It's not going to be like, I think it's going to be pretty even for both teams. I don't think either teams are going to get a lot of sacks. I think it's going to be pretty even, but I would lean more towards Georgia Tech.
No, I think that's very fair. I agree with that assessment. What Colorado fans know and what really hurt us the last couple of years that we're interested when it comes to scheme, and you guys do a good job of it. A lot of motion, a lot of misdirection that causes problems with CU's defense. And watching the Georgia Tech tape, you guys do some crazy stuff when it comes to the pre-snap stuff. That could definitely be a difference maker for you guys. But I totally think it's fair. And like I said, the offensive line has been so bad the last 2 years that even if they just improve on that a little bit, it's a big difference from what Colorado has. And we still were a 9-win team with that horrible offensive line. And now Caden Salter being a dual threat, I would completely understand with your assessment of it's going to be hard to take him down. If you guys can get a few in there, I think that definitely could be a game changer. It'll be interesting to see how that kind of plays out. Can
I add one more thing before you move on? Yeah. I'll say this. I think speaking with like Georgia Tech's offensive line, right? And I want to say this because I've seen Colorado fans say they're going to sack King a bunch. And I'll say this. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't think it's going to happen for the I don't think it's going to happen for the regular reason that you say, oh, this offensive line is magnificent. You know, they're the best offensive line in the country. They do not allow their quarterback to get touched. I don't think it's for that reason. You mentioned scheme. If you look back at last year, Georgia Tech was number 3 in the country, and they were number 1 in the Power 4 for the least amount of sacks allowed. Like all year, I think King only got sacked maybe 8 or 9 times. And I don't think it was because the offensive line was the best offensive line ever. It's scheme. Haynes King, he's going to scramble. He's going to get out of the pocket. He's going to get the ball out quickly with RPO read. He's going to run the read options. You just don't get a lot of opportunities to do it. And when you don't get a lot of opportunities to do it, it doesn't put a lot of wear and tear on the offensive line. They last longer. And, I think it's more of a scheme thing rather than Georgia Tech's offensive line is the best thing ever.
And 100%. I've been saying it all week to CU fans that the big thing that's going to happen is the only way we get a ton of sacks and we get after Haynes King is if Georgia Tech were to somehow fall way behind and then they're going into more of a passing scheme and we get them out of that running scheme. I mean, that's easy for any running team. You get them out of that, you can maybe force them into something else. But I don't think that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be both teams kind of just toughing it out, grinding for points, playing the scheme, playing their advantages, and best team is going to win. Whoever comes out just a little bit better than the other in those advantages. So I agree. I'm definitely not thinking that that's going to be like a massive difference in this game unless Colorado's offense just opens it up and now it's a shootout. I've told everyone, I mean, a shootout benefits Colorado, a close game benefits Georgia
100%.
Tech. And the only thing that can help Colorado in a close game, which I've been talking about, I want your opinion on it, because I get a lot of Tech fans saying that it's meaningless, which is, and you mentioned earlier, the altitude in Boulder, especially week 1. Colorado in the second half of games last year allowed 8 points or less in every home game except one. The big thing that we see with Colorado a lot is they either come from behind in the second half or hold on to those leads just because there's not much happening in that second half. I've been hearing from Tech fans, they're saying Georgia heat is the same thing as altitude. What is your thoughts, opinions? What are you seeing, hearing? Are you seeing anything with the team mentioning? I know somebody got asked about it today and kind of skirted the question and went more about like, who's in attendance at games. And a lot of CU fans are using that as bulletin board material. But what are your thoughts on what that looks like and, what this said? Because I'll be honest, if this game was in Georgia this year instead of next year, I would say Georgia Tech's probably winning this game pretty easily. I would be saying it's a Georgia Tech win if I was being honest.
I think it definitely has a factor. I think if anything, it has a factor in the run game. And I think the best thing for Colorado, if you can stop, like I'll go back just a little bit. I think it is a factor, but I don't think it's so much of a factor that it's going to completely hinder Georgia Tech. I think Colorado's defense still, you have to do the work, and then maybe the altitude is going to help you out a little bit. And in saying that, I think if you can stop Georgia Tech's run game in the first half, then they're not going to be able to get it together in the second half because of the altitude. They're going to be drained. They're not going to be able to get it together. But if Georgia Tech gets it together in the first half and they get going, I don't necessarily know if they're going to slow down that much in the second half because your defense may already be exhausted from them wearing you down as is. So when Georgia Tech starts winding down, Colorado's defense might be winding down as well. So you got to really stop them in the first half before they wear you down.
The teams that have beat Colorado and Boulder, because I also got that a lot, they're like, if altitude's so great, why aren't they undefeated home? I'm like, that's not the point. The second half can be different if the first half is played correctly.
Right.
If the first half goes Georgia Tech's way and they've got a bigger lead and they can just grind it out in the second half, game over. If it's a close game or Colorado's winning at half and they're shutting down the run game to an extent, then that's where that plays a factor. And I've been saying that to so many fans out there. Like, that's how the altitude affects teams. It doesn't always guarantee a victory. There's so much else. It's a small, minuscule part of the game, but it can play a factor if certain other things fall in place. So that's really something to pay attention to as it goes. Zach, what else do you have? What are some of the big things? I would love to get your prediction, what you think deep down. What do you think the final score and what the game is going to come out to when it comes down to it?
I think realistically, I'll say this. I want to go back real quick to the Haynes King thing, and this kind of plays into it. I think a lot of Colorado fans, kind of think that if you, I think I don't want to completely say that if you force it on Haynes King that you're going to automatically lose. But I'll give you a statistic, and I love Haynes King. I mean, you see, I got his jersey right there. I love Haynes King, but what I will say with this, I will say this: Haynes King performs the best when his run game is working, and he can use play action off of that. And he is going to. He's not a bad quarterback, but if you make him, what's the word I'm looking for? If you make him go out there and try to audible every down, try to read the defense, he's not
hero
gonna
ball.
do it. He can stand in the pocket and he can throw it, but if his run game isn't working, he doesn't have anything to rely on. It's like I was telling you in the live chat in 2023. Although our run game was good, there were games like, we played Clemson. The run game wasn't working, and he had to play a lot of hero ball, and he threw 4 interceptions. Now, do I think he's going to throw 4 interceptions now in 2025? No, but I don't think the offense is going to move like it should. So I don't necessarily think that would make Georgia Tech lose, but it would make it a lot easier. So I think if Georgia Tech's run game is working, my final prediction is 27-21 Georgia Tech. I think the run game is going to work. I think maybe Colorado's offense is going to maybe start off a little slow, and that's going to help Georgia Tech, start off at first, because I think both teams are going to start out slow. But I think really, if we get out of halftime, if we get out of the first half, and Georgia Tech has less than maybe 60, 70 rushing yards, I would probably tell myself at halftime we're going to lose this game unless Haynes King turns into a demon in the second half. Which is possible, but it's not likely. It's not likely at all.
There was a couple games like that we were very similar. I tell people that the North Dakota State game reminds me a lot in a respectful way. I mean, North Dakota State won the FCS national championship. Cam Miller was an unbelievable quarterback last year for them. He reminds me a lot of Haynes King in the athleticism and the ability to do things. We've put it on them and stopped the run, put it in Cam Miller's hand, and he almost won it single-handedly with his arm. And running the ball still with his legs, but he was a little bit different than what I said. And I would agree on that. I think Haynes King, very good quarterback. He's got both angles. Obviously, I think like you said, the running game is definitely the advantage and what Georgia Tech does the best. And if we can shut that down, it might be something different. That's a big question. Big question mark from every CU fan. We don't know if we can stop the run or not. So I completely respect that take on it. Compared to some fans that I was like, Georgia Tech's going to blow them out. It's not even going to be a close game. I'm like, Georgia Tech's a running team. Like, even if you guys are on all cylinders doing what you do best, that's not a recipe for a blowout. It's a recipe for just dominating and just not letting CU get into that game. So I definitely get that.
I'll give you 2 examples from last season. I'll give you the first game of the regular season, and I'll give you the last game of the regular season. You look at the game versus Florida State in Ireland, and, I've seen a lot of people say after it happened, well, not really after it happened, but more so after you realized how bad Florida State was. People said, why didn't Haynes King have a better performance in that game? He only had like 180 yards and like 80 rushing yards, but he was very efficient, but he didn't put up, an insane performance. And Georgia Tech only won by 3. And I'll tell everybody, I'm like, well, number one, it's the first game of the season. But number 2, we ran the ball all game. Haynes King's longest pass, I think, was like 15 yards. He was like, if the run game is working and we can win this game by 3 points, I'm not going to go out there and pass for 300 yards. But then you look at the last game of the season versus Georgia. You go into Athens, into a hostile environment. We were, I think, like a plus 15, that Georgia was favored, I want to say by 15 or 16 points, which I don't really get. I don't think that'll be like that anymore, but whatever. That's another topic. Haynes King had a magnificent game. I think he combined for like over 450 yards. He had 5 touchdowns, but that was a game where, he still had a little bit of a shoulder injury, but he had to put the game on his back. But my biggest gripe with Haynes King, and it's not all his fault, it's kind of scheme as well. We are built to run the ball. We're not built to sit there and pass. So it's not all on him, but my biggest thing with him is you can't count on him to always do that. He can do it, But you can't go into Colorado sitting there saying, if our run game does not work, we are going to be 100% fine because Haynes King is going to do what he did versus Georgia. It's not how it works. At his best, top 10, top 15 quarterback in the country, in my opinion, top 2 quarterback in the ACC. Yep. But game to game, he's top 5 quarterback in the ACC. He's not going to put up 450 yards every game. He's going to give you maybe 200 or 300.
I think that's a perfect take. And I've been seeing that all along with him. I would agree with that. I'm very interested to see what happens on Friday. Well, Zach, appreciate you joining me. Any last words, or if you want to plug, your social media accounts, let people know where they can find you the whole season and what you're going to be doing all season.
So if you can see my name on the screen, it is KingSzn. My real name is Zach Jones. I started the Twitter thing kind of like a joke. I did it on TikTok as well, where I make like the football edits, and I started off on Twitter. I'm going to be doing team breakdowns, breaking down each team's depth chart. I did one for Colorado. Got a lot of good feedback on that from Colorado fans and Georgia Tech fans. I'm going to be doing all 22 review. I might be doing it on my YouTube channel as well. That's just KingSzn. So if you're interested in seeing team breakdowns, it's mainly going to be ACC. I know these are going to be Big 12 fans, but it's mainly going to be ACC teams we face. But if you're interested in anything Georgia Tech is doing, you have Twitter, come follow me there. If you have TikTok, follow me on there. Maybe even give me a sub on YouTube. I'm maybe going to be posting all 22 breakdowns on there as well.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you joining me, Zach. I can't wait to finally have football here and we can actually watch a good game. I'm hoping for a great game from both teams this Friday, and we'll have all eyes on us nationally if that's a close, fun game for people to watch, which benefits both programs. So appreciate you taking the time. We'll probably have to chat next season before the rematch in Georgia. And yeah, good luck with the rest of the season. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Have a good night.
Okay, huge ups to Zach KingSzn. I really appreciate him joining. And I love the takes that he had. I think he looked at it the right way. I think he understood a lot more about CU than a lot of Georgia Tech fans. Maybe the only thing we didn't really get to, and I know a couple people in the chat have been chatting about that, and that is the wide receivers versus the corners. There is a massive size difference in Colorado's receivers versus Georgia Tech's. Will that be a game changer? We're going to have to find out. Can KingSzn do that? And David, you are still muted, by the way, before you try and talk. So, David, what are your thoughts just overall on that? And then we can get into our keys that kind of relate to some of the things that he said.
Yeah, first off, again, big props to Zach for coming on here and doing this. It's always great to have other fans from opponents to collaborate with that, of course, have fun with it, but that come and know their stuff. So thank you so much. That was fantastic. And best of luck to Georgia Tech after Friday. But initial thoughts, I kind of want to get right to it, man. I think that we're starting to turn the corner with where we're at as a team, where we're starting to become a little bit bigger than some of the opponents that we're playing, like size-wise. And
you remember that first year, Dave?
Man. Say what?
I said, do you remember that first year of Prime and playing Oregon and USC and what happened up front?
Yeah. And now I was just looking at this, during the interview as well, because I had to double check. I think they only have one corner. I don't know if he'll be backup or starter, but they got only one corner that's like over 6 feet. It's like 6'2". So that's how are you going to stop Sincere Brown? Freaking 6'5". Omari Miller is another one of our tall trees. We got a handful.
Hakeem.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude. Hakeem Williams.
JoJo. Our almost entire receiver room, except for our slot guys, are over 6 feet by a lot.
Yes. Yeah. So that's going to be a big matchup to pay attention to. But to me, it sounds like, okay, you got offensive lines that are new. You got, in my opinion, both very proven defenses. I know that we have some changing parts there, but a lot of returners. All of our players that have returned, they're in the system for the second year in a row. The culture's been established. I will want to give favor to the home team in this respect. I think our defensive line is going to give them trouble, especially when you're playing in Boulder, man. I think people are underestimating the atmosphere there at Folsom when this place is rocking, man. It's going to be a chaotic environment. And two, we also got big corners. They also got small wide receivers. Now we're gonna play man. You guys have brought this up in the comments, man. We're gonna play man. Haynes King was one of the worst in FBS football last year playing against man coverage. Now he does have a wide receiver that it broke my heart. We couldn't get him. Eric Rivers. I love Eric Rivers. I think he's a great player. We got to make sure that we contain him because if he's able to bust the game open, that could cause some issues. But we have big physical corners, and I think that's going to go in our favor on Friday.
Well, and I will say Malik Rutherford, their other receiver, he is pretty darn good as well. So they've got two solid receivers. Mind you, Eric Rivers, what's his height?
I think he's like 5'11".
5'11". Yep. Eric Rivers, 5'11". And Malik Rutherford, 5'9". So they don't have a big receiver room. Size-wise on corners, like you guys were talking about earlier, starting left corner, or what's showing on the depth chart, Rodney Shelley, 5'11". What else do we got on the other side? Right corner, Amari Harvey, excuse me, 6 foot even. Height will play a difference in the game if need be. Now, it's not going to be the end all be all. Obviously, you can jump a little bit, but we do have some guys that can go out there and get it. Now, the question is, and Dave, I want to ask you this question. Do you think, is Caden Salter for real? Because we could have the best receivers in the country. If you can't get the ball to them, if you can't do the right plays, that becomes the question. Is he going to be able to take advantage of those matchups and get the ball to our big wide receivers?
Man, I hope so. And I think a lot of this, honestly, is going to come for Caden Salter off script. I think this offense is going to look quite a bit different than what we've seen the past couple of years. Everything still needs to start with the run game for Colorado. It needs to. Even if we're not able to run it, for 200 plus yards, for me, including the quarterback scrambling, I think the number to hit is 150. If we can get 150 yards between our running backs and Caden Salter on the ground, I think that bodes very well. But I think that Caden Salter, again, the guys from PFF College Football pointed this out, which is great. Caden Salter is a 92 PFF rated passer when he's thrown off a play action. Like, we need to run the ball. We need to incorporate him as a run threat. And then we need to throw some deep shots to our tall, speedy trees downfield. That's going to be it. But I think a lot of what we're going to do with Caden Salter is going to come off script. We don't know how he's going to play. This is going to be his first game. But, I have fairly high expectations. This is his last year in college football. He's been a long-time starter now. He's experienced. Yeah, and this isn't the first time he's faced a really good program, right? I mean, they did get destroyed against Oregon a couple years back, but he does have experience going up against Power 4 opponents. And again, being at home, I think is really going to serve this team. And we got a lot to play for. A lot of people forget not only is Ralphie VI gone, which is a good omen, but also, man, this is Prime's first game coaching since everything happened with this cancer diagnosis. I think everybody's going to be locked in and focused.
Yeah, I think that's another good point. Offensively, I think we're going to be fine offensively. If I'm being completely honest, I'm not worried about the offensive side of the ball. I think it will ball out. I think it will look better. The question this whole game is going to be, can we stop Georgia Tech's run offense?
Yes.
And what that looks like. Comparing trenches, it's going to start there. Can we plug up the lanes? Can we plug up the holes? Can we allow for the linebackers to make the right decisions? Can we be true tacklers? The biggest issue we had last year, Dave, and we lost a lot of those players, Shiloh, Kansas State, the teams that ran all over us, they didn't run over us because they had wide open lanes. They ran over us because we couldn't tackle to save our life. I have never seen a team so poorly tackle and allow running backs to just do whatever they wanted. So the question is, on the defensive side of the ball, are we going to be able to stop the run?
Yeah, and I think that there are some upgrades that we've made or changes that we've made with the defense that I think will serve us stopping the run better. I think that we've gotten more athletic at inside linebacker with Martavius French and Reggie Hughes. Reggie Hughes, spoiler alert, he's like one of my players to watch for this game. I think that with how he goes, this CU defense is that's how they're going to go. I have no worries about the defensive line. I've said all offseason how I feel like that is the deepest room, even more than wide receiver on the team. So I think our defensive line is going to do what's expected. But again, Georgia Tech's going to have their moments. They run. It's their identity, the triple option. We've had more experience defending it leading up to this game because of what we're starting to run with Caden Salter back there. But again, we haven't seen like a true triple option team in quite a while. Kansas State, Kansas, these were teams that had their moments against us. But I think it's going to serve us well now that we've faced a handful of those opponents last year going up against Georgia Tech. We're just going to have to limit what they can do on the ground. But they're going to make their plays, man. Like, they're a very good football team.
Yeah, no, they are. I love the creativity that they run on offense. This person's saying, they don't run the triple option.
Oh, the speed option, whatever you want to call it. But
they run a very creative offense.
Championship in 1990. Let's just say that, right? No.
Yeah, we got to do that. Here he's like, that's a yeah. So. When it comes, I talked about it in the interview. I said, the motion that I see them do, that kills us. The motion absolutely kills us. We cannot track people to save our lives, or we couldn't last year, And I wasn't just trying to throw shade at Shiloh. Like, Cam Silman-Craig didn't have a great game against Kansas State at one point, and some of our other guys didn't have good games. It wasn't just on Shiloh. It's just fun because he had the ankle break moment that I think went viral last year. That was still one of the craziest things I've seen. So we've got to be disciplined. And what have we heard all week on Well Off during the practices, Dave? But Coach Prime and the coaches explain discipline. Mm-hmm. Discipline. If we are the more disciplined team, we will be victorious on Friday night. Defense will eat. They will do what they need to do, but can they have discipline? That's the big question.
Well, they freaking better. Now, we're not always going to get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to some of those 50-50 calls with the refs. That's just how it's going to be. But we saw this team take a massive jump in discipline from 2023 to 24. Now, we were still very penalized, but you could tell, man, it looked a lot different, and we were penalized less. But I do think that it's not every penalty is a bad penalty, man. As TJ Ward said for that Broncos 2015 team, man, sometimes, man, they were okay skirting the line, going over, getting a penalty there at the beginning of the game to try and set the tone physically. I have no issue if CU continues to skirt that line. I would much rather be closer to that line of being over aggressive than being too passive. So I think we got a lot of our returners are some of our most physical players. I think that we've gotten deeper and more athletic. I got a question for you, Russ. In terms of secondary, there's been some questions on who we're going to see start alongside Preston Hodge and DJ McKinney. Do you think it's going to be somebody that's a bigger corner like RJ Johnson, who might be able to support in the run a little bit more, or going with a guy like Tyreek Davis, who, being 5'9", 5'10", he could perfectly, match up well with some of their smaller wide receivers that they got.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's looking like it's not Davis, even though everybody has put Davis as a starter based on what we're hearing out of camp. It looks like it's between actually Teion Parks and RJ
Oh,
Johnson.
that's right. Yeah, Teion
Both
Parks.
bigger corners. Teion is 6'1". So I think that might be why they're starting, even though I would agree that I love Tyreek the most. I believe he should be starting, but it looks like he's not starting game one based on what the team is saying. We're literally heard that from the DB's coach that, it's going to be a split between RJ and Teion. So Tyreek is not even necessarily brought up, which is kind of crazy because Tyreek has had such an unbelievable fall camp. Seems like every practice he comes up with an interception. So I think it won't be long before Tyreek, but maybe, Dave, like you said, maybe it's a matchup thing. Maybe the team is looking at a run-first team like Georgia Tech and saying, let's put in Teion or RJ, who can be more of a sure tackler, who can be a little bit bigger to get through to the guys. I think that's what the team is looking at right now.
I do think we'll probably see a rotation of those guys. Like, I think all these guys will get snaps in some respect. So, yeah, maybe they run with a few different looks in the first half, and then they go with kind of who they feel is, playing the best in the second half. We'll have to see. But even though Tyreek is a little bit smaller, like, again, one thing that I've always loved about his game is that I feel like he plays bigger than his size. He's always punching the ball out. He just has a good nose for the football. So even if he's not starting, I do expect to see him in there. And like, I think one of the other keys to the game is really our safety play. How are Tafik Bayard, Carter Stoutmeyer going to be as the last line of defense, man? I know that there are some people that just want to crash and burn already when it comes to what's going on with our safeties. But hey, even Ben Finiseth, man, like, I'll say it, man. He's been a special teams ace for us. I have no idea how he is in coverage, but I do know that man can tackle, and I do have high hopes for the tackling ability of this safety group this Friday.
Yeah, no, I would agree on that. And I know the whole Ben Finiseth thing is people crashing out. Let's wait till the game to see who's starting. Like, for the love of God, like, we see a couple clips of Ben going up against certain people. Like, we have no idea.
Then showing practice tape is like some of the best and worst thing to ever happen on YouTube, man, because it turns everybody into a genius.
It is. Every week, what is it? Where's so-and-so? Where's Jaheim Otis? Where's Cormani McLean? Let's go back 2 years. Where's Cormani? Where's Cormani? Every single day. Like, seriously, guys, enjoy the fact that we get so much attention and connection to the team and not question every single thing when it comes to that.
Man, over analyze practice like that, man.
Just enjoy it. Just enjoy the clips. Enjoy what you see. Be excited for the guys and see what happens in actual games before you crash out. Like, that's what's really going to determine what's going on when we break down the all 22 footage of the games and we look at that and say, okay, this is what we've got to talk about. But, that's where it's at. And King, just so you know, all of our receivers are the fastest. I'm not even kidding. We've got 4 or 5 guys that are sub 4.5 runners with at least 2 or 3 guys that are sub 4.3 runners. That's why I keep telling people that Colorado has one of the best wide receiver rooms in the country. Not only do we have size, we have speed. Sincere Brown is 6'5", yet what is his biggest strength, Dave?
Dude,
his speed. Like, baby. That dude was catching out routes and screens and taking him to the house last year because of his agility and speed. Omarion Miller, do we not remember some of his biggest plays over the last 2 years? I mean, it was all pure speed. The guy can catch everything, but he has that. Draylon, speed. Let's not even talk about the secret weapon that I think is going to have at least one big play. Q for 6. Quentin Gibson could very well have his first ever college touchdown. I don't think he's going to get a lot of plays, but I think when he does, Dave, it's going to be magical getting that ball.
Well, he's getting snaps, man. You're not putting him on a Taco Bell cup to just sit on the sidelines all year.
Here we go. Where's Leftwich? Where's
Yeah.
Leftwich? All off season. That's all I heard. Where's Leftwich? I don't get it. Okay, so we've got the defensive side of the ball. We've got the offensive side of the ball. Dave, why don't we jump into who we think the difference makers are going to be? So who needs to be the difference makers for CU on each side of the ball if Colorado is going to be successful on Friday night? Let me know. What do you think?
Can I give you like 2 offense, 2 defense?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Let's start with the defense. We're going to go in the front 7 here. I already mentioned him, Reggie Hughes. This is a guy that I think has more athleticism and speed than Nakai Hill-Green. He's going to be leading this linebacker room. I think how he plays, the defense goes. And all-conference guy last year was at the Sun Belt at Jacksonville State. I think he could be an all Big 12 linebacker this year. He is like one of the most important players to watch this week, especially going up against a strong run team in Georgia Tech. Moreover, when it comes to the run defense, it is time for fourth-year player to show out his last year of college football. A lot of people are sleeping on him. In my opinion, nationally, Amari McNeil, man. He is going to be the leader in the defensive line unit. Now, we have a lot of depth there, but I think that he is definitely our most proven player. And yes, like, we don't have Chidozie back. Okay, like, that's something that we can get through, I think, with the talent that we brought in and the depth. But Amari McNeil, man, his upside is so high. He's ready to take that next step as one of the leaders on this defense. I think if he and Amari and Reggie Hughes have a strong game up the middle, it's going to be a very tough night for Georgia Tech.
I absolutely love that. I absolutely love that, Dave. For me, my 2, I'm going to go. I think Reggie Hughes is going to have a great game, which is why I'm going to pick Martavius French. I think he needs to pick up his game and be able to mimic what Reginald Hughes is doing so that it works. If you only got one linebacker really running to the ball and all that, you run off to the other side of the field, that could really hurt Colorado. So I think Martavius French needs to have a great game, especially in the run game. Love Amari McNeil and what he could bring. I'm going to go on the edge. I would love to see the hometown hero, the Buff legend, the man who has some extra juice for Friday night, honoring Coach Mack. His father played for Coach Mack. Arden Walker, I want to see him have an absolute massive game. When they do go to pass the ball, not necessarily sacks, Dave. I just want to see that pressure. I want to see that BJ Green type pressure where he is in Haynes King's face all night and letting him know who the pride of Colorado is when he is getting touched, tapped, hit, bumped, whatever it is, all night long. I absolutely want to see Arden Walker have an absolute difference maker of a game. So I'm going to go opposite side of you there. By the way, on the Amari McNeil, if you guys want, I posted a video about Caden Salter. There's a little Easter egg about Amari McNeil that pops up in that video. If you can find it, let me know in the chat. But love that, Dave. Now on offense, who you got? Who are the 2 biggest difference makers that need to happen on offense?
Well, I would obviously say our quarterback, Caden Salter, but that's a given. That's a given. We need a good game out of him, man. So I'll start with go get yourself a Buffs box, right? Go pick yourself up a Draylon Miller Taco Bell cup. Support real NIL, not like these other schools that are just dropping bags. Nah, man, this is real NIL, man. We're doing it the right way. All these other schools wish they could be doing this, but we got this going on. Draylon Miller is one of the first, players to watch on the offense. It is my prediction that he leads the team in receiving this year. And I think the coaching staff has alluded to this as well. We could see him take some snaps and rushes out of the backfield. He's going to be there doing jet sweeps, end arounds, passing concepts close to the line of scrimmage. But one thing people are forgetting is I think he has improved his downfield route running. Draylon Miller is a guy that could bring an absolute headache to whatever opponent they're facing. Now, the other guy is, I think, a guy that we haven't had a guy on this team in quite a while, man, and that's Trackhawk DeKalen Taylor, running back number 20, man. He's going to be taking, in my opinion, kickoffs and punts. He's going to be a weapon in the backfield. He might be the fastest guy on our team, and that's saying a lot because all we got are fast guys at the skill positions. All we got are super fast guys. My other hot take prediction is that he will have 2,000 all-purpose yards for Colorado this year. It's including returning. DeKalen Taylor gets off to a hot start. I think he breaks a big game-changing play for CU this week.
That's our Taco Bell take of the week. That's the prediction. The hot fire take of the week is Dave saying DeKalen Taylor is going to go off and start his 2,000 all-purpose yard season with a bang. Love it, Dave. Love it.
Yes.
Okay. For me, I'm going to go with the obvious ones. Just because it's game one and it needs to happen. We win or lose off the arm of Caden Salter. I know his legs are going to be active. He's going to be able to get out of the pocket. He's going to get some yards. I could easily see him with 70-plus yards rushing. But we are going to win or lose this year on the back of his arm. I've heard way too many people say that Caden Salter is not a good passer. Caden Salter himself has said he's got a chip on his shoulder because people keep saying that he is not a passer. When if you look, he actually is quite the passer. Okay? Last year at Georgia Tech, his completion rate dropped. But if you go watch Georgia Tech's games, he had receivers dropping passes left and right. He had guys not making plays that they should, not helping him whatsoever. It was all on Caden Salter's back. And now he has the most skilled and playmaking ability room possible that he has ever had in his college career, including the year he went off at Liberty. So I believe that Caden Salter's arm is going to have to win us this game and the season. And then on the other side, I got to go with Omarion Miller. It's Miller season, baby.
It's Miller time.
It's Miller time. That's right. It's Miller time. Hey, Miller, you want to throw another sponsor our way?
Yeah, come on.
Taco Bell. Like, I don't know how Miller Lite has not, they're right down the road from Boulder. How have they not already? Well, I guess maybe they can't. I don't know. There's probably some stupid NCAA rule about beer. Like they're waiting for it, but I bet they're just itching over there to get it. Omarion Miller is going to have another amazing time because, Dave, when Omarion Miller plays games, what happens? He blows up. For whatever reason, he hasn't gotten into a ton of games over the last 2 years. The USC game, the Kansas State game, games that he dominated. It's time. It's time for Omarion Miller time on Friday night, and I'm going to have Omarion Miller getting 120-plus yards and a touchdown.
Yes. Please, guys, inject that.
He had nearly 200 yards against USC. He had nearly 200 yards against Kansas State. This is the type of game that Omarion Miller lives for, and he is ready to go on Friday night.
He has ankles of steel now. Can't stop him.
Yeah. I mean, he has the bionic leg ready to go for Colorado. This is what I'm talking about. Okay. This is what I'm talking about. And see, these takes from Georgia Tech fans, I've seen numerous ones from this guy. Here's the thing. Sanders was heaving up a lot of balls. It wasn't so much about pinpoint, this is the perfect thing I'm doing. There was a lot of backyard ball last year. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be a lot different than Shador last year. And that's going to actually play in Salter's favor. It really is. It really, really is. Okay, Dave. So we've talked about impact. We've talked about game planning. I think we've come to the moment that everybody's been waiting for. We've talked about it this year. We've talked about it last week. Let's talk about our predictions for the night. You've got the prediction already. DeKalon Taylor going off. I've got the prediction. Omarion Miller going off. Do you have any other predictions before you give your overall prediction for Friday night?
I have my 3 official keys to the game.
Here it comes.
So
Three keys to the game.
None of this is earth-shattering, but we're going to get to it. Run the ball. Run the ball effectively. Please, God. Please. Let's not start out this season with 3 straight freaking passes like we did so many games of the past. Let's get some zone read. Let's get some speed options. Some of that fun stuff KingSzn did at Liberty, man. Let's run the ball. Let's give the ball to DeKalon Taylor. You guys are already mad at me for my DeKalon Taylor. TK, this is what I'll say. What the hell is a hot take if it's not steaming hot, baby? So run the ball. Run the ball. That's what we're going to do. Number 2, we didn't talk about this at all. But y'all know I'm a special teams slut. Special teams. We got to win the special teams battle. Every single kickoff needs to go through the end zone. I don't want to see one return. Keep me off the nicotine. Buck Buchanan, man. Kick that thing through the end zone. Special teams, atrocious in pass games. We cannot allow special teams to mess this thing up. This is going to be a close game. So we got to win special teams. It got to be a net positive, man. All right. And then lastly, key number 3. Put the ball in the hands of Haynes King. I don't want their freaking awesome running backs run that clock out in the 4th quarter. No. Let's get a lead. Let's put some pressure on and force their quarterback to maybe play outside of his comfort zone on the road. If we do those things, 24-20 victory at home, baby.
And that was the official Taco Bell 3 keys to victory.
Oh, yeah. I forgot to put this on here, man. Yeah.
Oh, geez, Dave.
Yeah, Georgia Tech fans, what you going to do? You going to put some, like, bee wings on your head? You can't do this. This is only CU, baby. Ralphie horns. Ralphie horns. Good.
Here's where we get to the part of the
moving forward.
Here's the part of the show where we go off the rails, everybody. Okay, this is where we start to have fun with this show. I don't know how many fans I got last week in the comments being like, "You guys are so stupid. You have the craziest takes." Blah, blah, blah. It's like you were watching the end of the show when we were just taking crazy Taco Bell, fire, spicy takes, having fun with it. This is the fun part of the show, guys, because guess what? Our predictions are meaningless when it really comes down to it. So we're going to have some fun with it. Take that, everybody.
That's right.
Take
That's
that.
right. And Ralphie is a girl. Ralphie's always been a girl because if we used males, he would destruct the entire stadium.
He would murder somebody like every week.
Yes.
Somebody would
Yes.
get murdered.
Yes.
They have to go female. Has anybody looked up the size of a male buffalo, a bison?
Educate me.
It's like some crazy. You can't do it. They do females because at least they're the size that they can somewhat manage.
Yeah.
So there. Not to
Yeah.
mention, hey, for all the girls and queens in the chat, we all know women are strong. Okay? I don't want to mess with no female bison. Okay? I don't want to mess with that.
They give
There you
birth
go.
to other bisons. You got to be tough.
I love this. Oh,
And
love the
how many yellow jackets does it take to take out a Buffalo, man? More than the 11 they'll have on defense.
a lot. I don't even know if that's possible. Probably take like 10, 20, 30,000 Yellow Jackets to take down a Buffalo.
Yeah, come on, man.
Just saying.
Come on, man. All right, Russ, and this is the last thing I'll say, and then we can get to yours. But, this is a rematch for the, who has the bragging rights for the 1990 national title, man. No one pays attention to the coaches poll, and we're going to prove that again on Friday, baby.
There. I mean, that's simple. Before we get to my prediction and my takes, quick ad break, everybody. We got to keep the lights on. Taco Bell has so graciously sponsored us this year for the season, Buff Blitz. So, Buffs fans, it's a brand new season, and Taco Bell's bringing the flavor like never before. Say hello to the first ever $7 Buffs box loaded with 4 Taco Bell classics: the Cheesy Gordita Crunch, the Beefy 5-layer burrito, the Doritos Locos Taco, and Cinnamon Twist. Tell me, do Georgia Taco Bells have that good of a deal right now? No. No, they don't. Plus, you get a large drink with your favorite player: Georgian Seaton, Juju Lewis, Draylon Miller, or Quentin Gibson. Rock the cup, represent Buffs Nation. But here's the best part, Dave. This season, we're going to bankrupt Taco Bell because Taco Bell is donating $1,000 per touchdown to the CU Buffs Golden Buffalo Scholarship Fund. That's a touchdown turning into scholarships, wins on the fields, wins off the field for students. So when your hunger hits, when it's game day on Friday, where's everybody going in the chat? Where is everyone going in the chat on Friday for lunch? That's right. You are going to your Colorado Taco Bell and buying your $7 Taco Buff box at participating Colorado Taco Bell locations. Go Buffs and live Moss. Love it.
Oh my God, that was an incredible read, Russ.
I've been practicing. I've been practicing.
And I'll say this: get to the game early, get to Boulder early, like a Friday, that Friday afternoon. Just go right across the street off Broadway. Taco Bell right there next to the Starbucks, man. Pick yourself up one of this. Support real NIL. A lot of these other fan bases are just straight up coping that they don't have something this cool going on where you support Taco Bell. Who doesn't love Taco Bell? If you don't, you got hate in your heart, and you're supporting Colorado athletics, man. This is really cool.
Yeah, there it is. They're losing money. Should have went nationwide. I'm sure they'd try and do that, but I think some of the other sports teams might be mad. I mean, just so you know, maybe a team up north might not be happy about the Buff box. I'm just throwing that out there. Just throwing that out there.
I didn't even know one existed.
A little brother might be, whining about the Buff box here and there. But there's that. Okay, let's get to predictions. We got your hot takes. Let's get to predictions, Dave. Dave, what is it? What is happening on Friday night in Boulder?
Oh, yeah. I gave my score prediction, 24-20. Sorry. I might have skirted over that. But, yeah, look at this, man. Am I going to come out and say we lose on Friday night? Coach Prime's first game back from freaking surviving cancer? No way, man. We got too much on the line. The green's going to be lit. Folsom's going to be absolutely popping. And our team has been through the ringer over the last couple seasons. We're built for this.
Wait, we got to get the music going. We got to get the music. We got to get Dave feeling it.
Yeah.
We got to get Dave feeling it. Huh?
Yes. According to AI, KingSzn saying it would take 250,000 Yellow Jackets to take down a Buffalo. Yeah, man, y'all got no chance. You got absolutely no chance. You think 11 Yellow Jackets are going to stop this? No way, man. We got a herd of Buffalo over here, man.
Oh, so 24-20, Dave. 24-20. I love it. Here is my prediction. Okay? The Buffs will be able to slow down Georgia Tech's run. Not stop it, not end it completely, but slow it down enough that they will have the lead heading into half. And that will then lead them into the second half where, again, they will be forcing Georgia Tech to throw the ball a little more. And I'm calling it, DJ McKinney is going to show up in a big way when it comes to that secondary. And so I've got Colorado coming out victorious 30-27. 30-27. They're going to hold on at the end to beat Georgia Tech in the home opener to go 1-0.
Amount of time, baby. That means we're making field goals.
That's right. You said it, Dave. Special teams is going to be important. Special teams is going to be important to Colorado this year, and I believe that it's going to be the difference maker when it really comes down to it at the very end. And there we go. KingSzn 27-21. The other Georgia Tech fan 28-21. At least you guys are somewhat smart and paying attention and not saying 40 some odd points to Georgia Tech. I had somebody say Georgia Tech's going to run all over Colorado and score 40 plus points. I'm like, do you even know that that's not mathematically possible? Like, it's going to be a low scoring game then if you run the ball that much. That's facts. You're not scoring 40 if you're running the ball. But hey, some Georgia Tech fans, like I said, a little bit too much moonshine. A little bit too much moonshine, Dave.
Man, I can't wait to see this turf, man. Our grass field looked, shout out to all the guys who worked on it, but man, it looked like absolute trash on TV, man. I'm so glad to see our new turf out there, man. It's going to look amazing. It's going to look awesome, and we're going to play fast. We're going to have the speed advantage.
No, I officially agree, Dave. This is going to be a fast, fun game. Here's the key. It's going to be a great game, and I'm calling it now. It's going to be one of the highest rated games of the entire weekend. It is. And if it's close, it's going to probably be the highest rated game of the entire weekend, if we're being honest.
I think that this is a wonderful first game to have. I'm glad that we got, some cupcakes after this, but this is going to just be a great test at the beginning to see where we stand, how ready we are for Big 12 play. Again, Georgia Tech is a very good team, and I think we get a quality win here week 1, man. I think it's going to be a great tone setter for the season.
Agreed. I absolutely agree with that. Any last questions in the chat? Go ahead and show them out if you're looking for that. And I get that. That is a massive game this weekend, but I'm just saying, if it's a close game, there's not much else going on that late Friday night spot. That's why I think it could be a massive ratings boost for the game. But we shall see. Can we overtake the Ohio State-Texas game? That is going to be the question. Although that one does have Arch Manning's debut as starting quarterback. I am going to be tuning in.
They are the national champs, but yeah, let's just go with it. We will.
Oh, just celebrities at the game. I mean, right, Dave? That doesn't mean anything. They're just a bunch of celebrities that show up to see you. That's all anybody cares about.
That's right. Randy Moss, baby.
Okay. Dave, any last words for the chat, for the people watching?
Guys, I just appreciate you all so much. This is third season doing this, man, and it's been so much fun. I got way more in store coming for you guys this season, and it's going to be our funnest season yet. We started off by having our funnest 4-8 season of all time. Last year, I think we blew most people's minds by winning 9 games. This year, man, it's going to be the funnest we've had. So thank you for sticking with me. And, of course, go subscribe to all my other Buff content creator friends, as well as Russ, Buffs News Weekly, and give KingSzn a follow. Got some massive stones coming on here. Always really appreciate it, man.
No. Yeah. That's the thing right there. That's the thing right there. I love the creator community that we have for the most part. Oh, probably like 90% of them.
Well, they're just not part of the group. They're just not part of the group if we don't like them.
No. So huge shout out to them. Hey, hit the like, guys. You don't understand how huge that is on both videos. Jump over to Dave's channel, hit the like after this one. Jump on mine, hit the like, subscribe. It really does help push this after the fact. Last Friday, you guys did a great job. My KingSzn Salter video, hey, go check it out, by the way. Everyone's loving it. Get to know who your starting quarterback is. Hey, Georgia Tech fans, you want to learn more about KingSzn Salter, go watch my video on KingSzn Salter, and you might learn a little bit when it comes to who he is. So I appreciate that. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate you, Dave, for being my co-host all season long. I'm excited to see what we do with this, where we go, how big we're going to get this season. And yeah, I'm excited, Dave. I'm excited. We're finally here. Football is finally here. Oh, and also, you and I have talked about this. We'll be doing post games together when we can So be on the lookout for that. If you love the Buff Blitz, tune into us. We love getting your guys' takes, okay? I will say, DNVR is going to have your best coverage of post-game. Absolutely. They're going to have interviews and all sorts of insight and stuff. But we're the one show where you can go and voice your opinions and actually get them shown, and we will actually react to them.
The celebrations and crash outs, baby. That's what you're going to get.
Celebrations and crash outs. And we'll figure out, Dave, is Monday's call-in Buffs News Weekly show a crash out Monday or a victory Monday? We'll find out Friday night in Boulder, baby. In Boulder. Okay. Well, appreciate guys. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Again, make sure on your way out, hit that like. We thank you guys so much. And before we get out of here, all Buffs fans, say it together. What do we always say?
Go Buffs, baby.
Go
Buffs.
Buffs. We'll see you guys Friday night after the game.